Shalom. So today we're going to talk about whether sex is marriage or is part of the marriage. Right? Now, before we get into that, because there's so many confusion about that, let's go to something that we all can understand that we don't have a doctrine about, so we can look at it consciously. Right? Now, what if a person has some mixed fruit soaked and fruit wine and some vanilla? Would you say they have a cake? No, you would not, right? But if they have all the ingredients, the flour, the vanilla, the egg, the sugar, the fruits, the fruit wine, the mixed fruits, and so forth, right? All of those together would give a fruit cake. Now, it's the same thing with this concept of marriage, right? You have to have the sex among the other components, because you can have sex with a person who has no intention of pursuing the duties of a husband or a wife with you, right? So then you wouldn't call that married. And this is why it mentions specifically, it says, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, lie with, there's a difference between lie with and marry. What is the difference there? The person consent. The person is in agreement. They agree for a proposal to pursue. When Isaac took the woman in her mother's tent, he didn't take her and lie with her, marry, because there was an intention there to pursue this woman, to pursue the duties of a husband. Right? Now it says, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now, dealing with marriage, you have to look back at the fact that you have languages and cultures, and these things change, they water down over a process of time. Right? So we will see the word marriage in this culture, and we think in this culture and say this is the same thing as in the time of Genesis, coming all the way up. It's just the same way we look at the concept of day in this culture, and we said it's the same 7 days from Genesis until now. But things do change, and this is why a lot of people who think they are married, they are really not married. And a lot of people who think they are not fornicating, they are fornicating, but just because their concept of marriage now is based on a ring and a marriage license signed by the state. So the state has become the head of their marriage, wherein back in the ancient days, your marriage has nothing to do with state. It was a matter of the heart. So you can be with a man that you know the man has no intention towards you. The man is not doing anything for the home or the pursuing you in any way, right? But because you have a marriage license and a ring, you say you are actually in a marriage. A lot of people, they meet people, they have sex, and when something is new, it's very pleasurable. So for 3 months, 6 months, you're having this great time. But after that, when you're now getting used to the person, you see that there is really no connection there. So you spend 3 to 6 months, pleasurable fun, sex, and all of that. But then you spend the next 5, 10 years fighting for a relationship that you never created in the first place. That's not marriage. So you are fornicating with a man that you have a marriage license with and wear a ring, but you're fornicating, but you don't know, because you're looking at marriage from the concept of this culture, this society. And a lot of people who are actually living real marriages, that you would look down on them and say they're fornicating, they're the ones living the reality of marriages. And I see this a lot with religious people, where they're single as hell, and they look down on other people and speak bad about them. But guess what? That woman has her man living in the house with her, helping her with chores, activities, doing things together. You have to call on your brothers or friends or some random guys to do some things for you. But you see, you honor your single life, so you find out that all the single women are in all these religious institutions. But they are the women who you consider to be part of the world. Guess what? They have their man living with them, who they don't have to rely on other men to do activities for them. So if they want the lights changed, their car jacked up, change tires, guess what? Their husband will do that for them. Who do you go to? Right? So your concept of God has to be aligned with your concept of living. There are too many contradictions in your belief and the fruits that you are producing. You cannot separate what you call God from what you call reality. So back to this, it says, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So guess what? You are obliged. Since you cross this line of having sex with her, you are now obliged to do what? Do the other duties. So sex is just one part of the marriage, but you have everything else to do that you didn't intend to. And this is why sex is the end process when you're going about meeting a person. You want to know for sure what your values are, your beliefs are, everything, right? And you want to meet a person who matches that. Or even if they don't match it, you can see that they have the potential to make that change. And it's funny because even now on social media, you'll see that quote about, it's not about a man who puts a ring on your finger. It's not about a man who is in your house, is in your bed or whatever, but a man who is willing to change for you. That's the biggest price of dowry a man can ever pay for you. Let's go back to the sister of the Israelites, Dinah. When the brothers asked him, when he said, ask me the dowry and the gift, and they are willing to pay it, they wanted him to circumcise, meaning they wanted him to change. That's the biggest dowry a man can pay for you, to change his life, to value the things you value, to have the same moral standards and principles as you, to be in full alignment with your spirituality. So it's just like back to the analogy of the cake. Guess what? If you have eggs, flour, vanilla, and so forth, right? That doesn't say that you have a cake. Those are not even the key ingredients in the cake, because having those, guess what? You can make a vanilla cake, a chocolate cake, or whatever, strawberry cake, any kind. Those are not even the key ingredients. But when you have your fruit wine and your soaked mixed fruits, guess what? You know for sure that, guess what? It's going to be a fruit cake. So you know exactly where you're going, the direction you're heading, what you need to do, what you need to get, and so forth. So you can be in a full agreement. But talking to a man who has the flour, the egg, the sugar, guess what? You still have no clue whether he's making a vanilla cake, a chocolate cake, a strawberry cake. So you're still there confused, and you spend 5-10 years with him trying to figure out if it's gonna be a chocolate cake or a vanilla cake or a strawberry cake. That's a lot of what you guys are living. So you spend 5-10 years with a person, and guess what? In the end, it just fade away like thin air. When you have sex with a person, it means that you have been around this person enough. You've seen her inside. You observed her through experience, just like Jacob spent 7 years around this woman. So he was seeing her from morning to night, every day. So you see the behaviors, you see what needs to be adjusted. Okay, she has that kind of attitude, but I can work with her. I can live with that even if she does not change. Or is the same for you? You're around a man, you're observing him. Guess what? You see all those things. You see he has a little ego problem, but it's not too much. You can live with it even if he does not change. So once you go and have sex, it means that you have confirmed that regardless of whatever flaw he or she has, even if he or she should not change for the rest of their lives, guess what? I am willing to work with it. So now I'm going to sign my agreement, my covenant, saying that if you don't learn to shut up your mouth, I'm still willing to be with you for the rest of my life. If you're not willing to control your ego, I'm still going to be with you for the rest of my life. And that's what the sex means. And this is where a lot of us compromise, because we first have sex, then we realize the things that are wrong. And then we say, no, we're not doing that. But you've already started it the wrong way. And this is why the scriptures give all the principles of how to go about a relationship. Sex is a confirmation. It is, of course, a key component, but it is not all the component. So yes, it might be the mixed fruit or the fruit wine in a fruit cake, but guess what? You still need the other components. You still need your flour, you still need your sugar, you still need your vanilla, and so forth, to say you have a complete fruit cake. Shalom.